Hello, this is Chen. Today I'm going to present our research, Designing for Sustainable Community Transformation, Age-Friendly Communities for the Future. The research is jointly authored by Professor Vladimir Koci and myself, and it builds on my PhD research. With the accelerated aging of the world's population, countries are focusing on solving various life issues of the elderly through the power of diverse communities to spend their twilight years in a quality manner. In the context of active aging and community transformation, this research explores sustainable design strategies for age-friendly communities based on the theory of design for sustainability. The sustainable transformation of age-friendly communities indicator is the analysis criterion. Case studies of aging communities in 4 countries of China, the USA, Spain, and Italy are analyzed in the following 4 areas: outdoor space and buildings, transport, social participation, civic participation, and employment. The positive role and the impact of the theory in design planning strategies for aging communities are demonstrated, illustrating future trends in sustainable aging community design planning and providing reference for future research. The world's population is aging. The number and proportion of older persons are growing in almost every country. According to data from World Population Prospects, the 2019 revision, by 2050, 1 in 6 people in the world will be over age 65, which is about 16%, up from 1 in 11 in 2019, which is about 9%. By 2050, 1 in 4 persons living in Europe and North America could be age 65 or over. New measures and the concept of population aging are of great significance in assessing the living conditions and living arrangement of older people, their productive and other contributions to society, and their need for social protection and healthcare. Cities and communities are currently facing enormous challenges of aging. In the context of increasing number of older persons and ensuring demands on infrastructure and service policies, existing community environments are no longer able to meet the daily needs of the elderly. Many old communities lack inclusive environments, accessible infrastructure, and humanized community service, making life difficult for older people. Therefore, there is an urgent need for a new way of thinking and approach to emerging in communities today, transforming them into more age-friendly environments to enhance the quality of life and experience of older people in their later years. Population aging is poised to become one of the most significant social transformations of the 21st century, with implications for almost all sectors of society, including labor and the financial markets, as well as demand for goods and services such as housing, transport, and social security, and family structures and intergenerational relations. Increasing urbanization and policy discourse to support aging in place raises the urgency of creating and planning for an age-friendly environment. National policies and measures to safeguard the lives of the aging populations will directly bear the quality of life of older people in their later years. Unlike young adults, older people's standards and requirements for the environment, facilities, policies, and services in which they live needs to be adjusted due to their physical and psychological changes, and designers are paying more attention to the experience of this group of people and adopting a more inclusive approach based on the principle of fairness and respect to include them in the mainstream of daily life. The discussion of age-friendly communities is based on the World Health Organization's definition of an age-friendly community as one where policies, services, environments, and structures support and enable active aging. Policymakers and service providers are increasingly aware of the importance of providing age-friendly services or products to older people, and this trend has spread globally. The concept of age-friendly communities is the latest manifestation of this trend in policy and discourse on aging. The creation and maintenance of age-friendly environments are widely recognized as a core component of a positive approach to the challenges of population aging. Design interventions play an increasingly significant role in today's social problem solving and social transformation. In recent years, disciplines such as green design, ecological design, system design and social innovation design have become better known and develop a wide range of applications. It is easy to see that the current trends in the design field are becoming more focused on the harmony and the balance between people, the environment, and society, as well as integrating other disciplines and taking a longer-term view on how to make people's life better in the future. Sustainable age-friendly community transformation is building on the concept of community and integrating the multiple attributes of a community with a longer-term version of development, providing opportunities for the residents living in the community, especially the elderly, to continue to grow and develop, as well as a harmonious, balanced, and equitable place to live, so that older people can age healthily with dignity and autonomy. There are significant differences in community planning and models in different countries worldwide. In China, the government and companies build gated communities with a combination of buildings, with multiple gated communities forming a more extensive community to achieve a model where aging at home is the mainstay, with community-based care as an adjunct. In the United States, the solar system is the best-known form of community spatial layout, a community where senior housing, food and shops, recreation centers, and healthcare facilities form a unified whole, where older people have access to a full range of services and can mobilize the spontaneity of residents to protect their bottom-up model of community governance. In Spain, the community development plan implemented by the Autonomous Community of Catalonia in 1996 uses participatory processes to meet the needs of communities and improve their quality of life, emphasizing the importance of a process of political decentralization will allow communities themselves to achieve real and sustainable social change by promoting neighborhoods, municipalities, regions, community organizations, and citizens. The long history of Italian civil society has led to the development of a diverse network of organized reciprocity and civic solidarity, resulting in several active community organizations. These civic communities have embraced the spirit of citizenship, promoting solidarity, civic participation, and integration, working in partnership with regional governments to manage communities and building on a strong base of civic participation. It is clear that sustainable transformation should base on local politics, economic and cultural context and characteristics, with locally adapted strategies and pathways for maximum impact. Design for sustainability is a design approach that aims at sustainable management of economic, social, and ecological aspects. It emphasizes system planning and holistic design. The transformation of sustainable development requires structural changes in society and the way it interacts with nature and the built environment. For the transformation of communities, it is also necessary to consider how the economic, social, and ecological transition of communities can be sustainable in a holistic manner. According to the German sociologist Friedrich Tönnies, the meaning of community for people is not limited to space but also includes the satisfaction of emotional needs that are essential to life. Design for sustainability follows the two aspects of community transformation design: the design of the physical environment of living space and the design of the human emotional environment of the community life. Thus, the sustainable transformation of age-friendly community is the application of design for sustainability concepts, taking the community as a whole to address the systemic issues faced by communities in the process of transformation in the context of active aging by design. The method is based on the framework Global Age-Friendly Cities, a guide. The Sustainable Transformation of Age-Friendly Communities indicators were developed by combining the age-friendly communities domains and suggested spatial indicators with sustainable development theory. See the table. In order to analyze the role and impact of design for sustainability in the planning strategies of age-friendly community design in each country, the Sustainable Transformation of Age-Friendly Communities indicator was used as a criterion for analysis. One representative case study in each domain of the indicator was selected for analysis as a basis for demonstrating the widespread application and the positive impact of design for sustainability on a global scale. Each case is in itself a systematic and a holistic design, encompassing multiple areas of planning and strategy design. This research focuses on only those domains of the indicators. So in this table, you will see there are two environments, physical and human and emotional, and four domains, outdoor space and buildings, transport, social participation, civic participation, and employment. The outdoor spaces and buildings is focused on walkability for transport, with and without footpaths, systematic landscaping, including the use of eco-friendly materials, disposal of waste, etc., and accessible buildings and design. The transport considers the 400 meters radius of the settlement, access to public transport with disability standards for accessible public transport, and a humanized transport service system. The social participation is focused on access to and use of sharing spaces, such as neighborhood houses, community centers, recreation centers, community services, and interaction with people in the community. The civic participation and employment talks about the proportion of the population aged over 60 years regularly volunteering or working for paying in the community and working beyond the official retirement age. Opportunities to be paid and contribute to society as a stakeholder through community activities or work. Walkable communities are significant for older persons because they enable people to reach destinations with commercial and social opportunities. Walking is also associated with maintaining functional independence and better cognitive function. It is also essential to have open spaces that are easily accessible on foot and accessible design of facilities that allow the elderly to move independently, have access to the common space and use the facilities in the space together, which helps to promote daily experience and social interaction activities for the elderly. Sustainable landscape planning in communities also plays a role, taking into account water resources, energy use, building materials, waste, the inner environment and health, whether it is designed to last, the quality of space, and the mobility of transport, etc., to assess the environment as a whole. Such mechanisms that balance social culture, ecological and economic values with the built environment can lead to more sustainable community development. Located in the Shui district of Beijing, China, Beijing Oriental Sun City is a new type of senior community to build an ecologically green, eco-friendly, and energy-saving community. The site is located on a riverbank and woodland, with a nature base of flat terrain, rich vegetation, and diverse ecological landscapes, and a closed ecosphere with large green areas, lakes, and vegetation. The community comprises 7 components, which follow the principle of open space. The community is divided into neighborhood units, which are arranged around a sub-level green landscape system, creating a spatial system that transitions from the public realm to the private space in a gradual manner. Meanwhile, the topography is used its advantage, with sewage flowing through special pipes into a nearby low-lying green space and leading to a treatment station, where it can be treated and recycled. In addition, the community transport system has been graded to consider the safety of the elderly on foot. Primary roads link the communities from south to north. Secondary roads link the main roads to the communities, and bicycle lanes have been created to promote the use of bicycles. The pedestrian system provides a comprehensive, safe and convenient link between residential units, public space, and various green spaces in the landscape. At the same time, accessible lifts and ramps for the disabled are provided in the community flats and public space, and ample seating is provided in the communal areas of the community for the elderly to rest. The open space system enables Oriental Sun City to open up the living space to the landscape space from the whole to the local spatial form at all levels, making the operation of the whole community sustainable and humane. Community transport is an essential link between older persons and their social networks and activities, and is one of the critical determinants of health. It has a significant impact on older people's access to local services, participation in paid and unpaid productive activities, such as employment or volunteering, maintenance and development of social networks and support, and participation in social and recreational activities. The traditional neighborhood development model limits the radius of settlement developed to approximately 400 meters to ensure that residents of a settlement can walk to a public transport stop in less than 5 minutes. At the same time, mobility is essential for the social participation and well-being of older people. Public transport is essential for older people who have reduced driving ability. In addition, the establishment of a complete transport service system will also influence the community experience and frequency of travel for older people. A good service experience will increase the mobility of older people and promote safetier mobility while reducing the stress of traveling and providing a sense of dignity. In the United States, road standards have even been changed in some areas to encourage connections between blocks up to 500 feet, which are about 150 meters, in length to enhance walkability and accessibility by public transport. Complete street designs have also been introduced for safety reasons. In addition to emphasizing accessible design changes in the construction of public, commercial, and government facilities in strict compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act standards, it focuses on roadway design improvement for older drivers and pedestrians, including at least 5 areas. First, networks designed for proximity better accommodate older drivers and pedestrians. Second, the combined pedestrian crossing uses zebra stripes to attract the attention of drivers, but keeps the walking surface free of paint to reduce falls by elderly people in rainy weather when the paint is slippery. Third, given the lower version and increased reaction time of elderly drivers, continuous midterm lanes increase the chance of vehicle conflicts, and measures such as raised grass mediums are used to restrict the vehicle turning to defined position. Fourth, generally, intersections are located out of sight of drivers, making it easier for older drivers with stiff necks to integrate into traffic by adding bicycle and pedestrian facilities and reducing the turning radius. Fifth, other transport infrastructure improvements such as signals, pavement lighting, visible signage, streetscaping facilities, and fixed interval placement of benches and rest areas to better meet the needs of older people who often have visible or physical challenges. As can be seen from these 5 areas, the United States measures have increased the comfort and safety of older residents and enhanced the travel experience through visual guidance, material features, changes to the physical environment, and overall planning. Previous research has shown that social participation can contribute to the health and the well-being of older people. Meaningful social relationships and participation are essential for good health, which is defined as a social phenomenon among the social determinants of health. For older people, social participation provides greater life satisfaction, is protective against cognitive decline, and contributes to resilience in older people. It is vital that older people have independent access to and use of shared community spaces, for example, community centers, recreation centers, libraries, etc., without barriers, and that they can access the services there independently. Shared spaces are essential social infrastructures. They are critical to older people's access to appropriate community services and experience, and a public platform to connect with others, share emotions, and access information, which significantly affects older people's social participation and physical and mental health. An eco-friendly retirement home and day center located on a wedge-shaped plot in the village of Blancafort in northern Spain, designed by architect Guillem Galera. The passive building is intended to allow retired residents of Blancafort and its neighborhood towns to come and socializing and increasing social opportunities. Considering that older adults may have difficulty walking or even use wheelchairs, the internal walkways are generally sloped with very few steps, reducing the possibility of falls and injuries. The architects have used solar panels and thick layers walls to ensuring year-round thermal regulations to minimize the ecological impact of the building. The materials used are also locally sourced stones wherever possible. The larger courtyard is surrounded by the social spaces used by the day center, while the smaller courtyard is overlooked by the care home part of the building. A solar-powered air conditioning system has also been installed inside the building to reduce electricity consumption. This eco-friendly retirement home is not only considered to be in harmony with its surroundings, energy efficient and environmentally friendly, but also has good accessibility facilities, making it possible for the elderly to access the services and good experience of the community. Meanwhile, it provides a shared and equal space for the elderly in the neighborhood, the opportunity to make new friends, helps to generate new knowledge and provides information exchange and reflection. It has an emotional impact on the participants and their involvement in community projects and provides an excellent reference in terms of increasing the active social participation of the elderly and maintaining their physical and mental health. Empowerment, autonomy, and control and employment conditions has been important influence on actual and self-reported health. The idea of taking control of one's own destiny has also been proposed, consistent with the understanding that health is influenced simultaneously by the individual, which is micro or individual, the local and the community context, which is a meso or community, and the larger social context, which is a macro or social level. Civic participation and employment are important influences on agency and autonomy in society. It is, therefore, important to know how many older people in the community are engaged in paid and unpaid productive activities. Based on previous research, it has been found that the importance of older people's participation in problem-solving processes as stakeholders in age-friendly communities is well known, especially in areas such as policy and governance, environmental issues, retrospection, and conflict resolution, but it has not been incorporated into most traditional design-led approaches. The time, experience, and the resources that older people have are significant factors that cannot be ignored and will have a positive impact on the environment and society. It can be inferred from this that the participation and employment of senior citizens in community life not only creates a more significant social contribution than we might expect, with the remuneration received by the individual subsidizing patients and daily life, but also contributes to the health of older people, the realization of their personal values, and the gaining of respect. A restorative garden project in Milan, Italy, working sustainability with the elderly, provides a vivid case study. The research team selected a green area in the Ortica district, a former industrial center on the northeastern outskirts of Milan, which is included in a community garden called San Faustino, based on 3 essential items that can improve the quality of life of the elderly: prosthetic environment, regenerative place, and ecosystem value as design criteria, using co-design as a means to include older people as stakeholders directly in the decision-making process. The project is dedicated to designing a sustainable and restorative garden for older people. The focus groups were analyzed using text-based codes for the general content of the neighborhood and attention restoration theory for the specific content of the garden. Compatibility, being away, extend, and fascination. By analyzing the data from the focus group, the results were obtained. The familiarity of the 3 groups with the community garden was partially heterogeneous, but the debate around flora, fauna, human artifacts, and general issues was effectively conducted in all focus groups. This result of the attention restoration theory obtained from the focus groups are shown in this table. Compatibility received the most attention from respondents. The multisensory experience invoked by interaction with nature fascination was considered highly desirable. Being away came in 3rd place, and the study area was predetermined as a space to satisfy participants' desire to escape. Extend came last and was considered the least important. Subsequently, the researchers developed a conceptual plan for the design based on the result of the focus groups. You can see it in the left image. The functional areas and their connections were first defined to ensure the efficient use of the space. 1. A multifunctional garden, matching the needs and the attitudes of the identified objectives, in line with the compatibility factors of attention restoration theory. 2. A garden capable of creating contact with nature, consistent with attention restoration theory's distance, extent, and charm factors. The master plan was defined next, detailing the works as a whole, containing the entrances to the gardens and the welcome area, the wildlife path, the orchard, and other areas. You can see it in the right image. This study outlines the specific features and functions that restorative gardens should meet based on the result of the potential users and focus groups involved in the design process. The older people first highlighted the need for regenerative spaces. Considering the design criteria of the prosthetic environment, users mainly need accessibility, which is physical and experimental, and the opportunity to make choices. The value of the garden ecosystem is not recognized. It will depend on the designer choosing sustainable design solutions that will also help to create a regenerative environment. The project shows us how older people are involved in the sustainable planning of communities and have transformed and influenced the community environment, showing the active and important role they play in the design process. Older people can create a more significant contribution to the ecological and human environment of their communities and gain physical and psychological well-being. In summary, planning strategies for age-friendly communities involving design for sustainability provide a pathway for future community transformation. The sustainable transformation of age-friendly communities indicators need to be further expanded and deepened in the future to suit different national contexts and environments. And the current indicator elements could be applied and tested in a range of different locations. This may include, but is not limited to, international comparisons and cultural differences, regional characteristics, climate conditions, policy influence, economic impact, geography, etc., to explore additional factors that could be added to the indicators. The main objective of this study is to demonstrate the importance and positive impact of design for sustainability theory in planning strategies for future age-friendly communities by proposing a set of basic, objective, and sustainable indicators that can be applied on a wide scale and can be used for design interventions. The importance of design for sustainability in a design-oriented, sustainable society of the future is illustrated by pointing out the sustainable trend in community transformation concerning specific cases in 4 countries. Thank you.